Hello, it's Matt here again, and this is the second episode of the Searchlight, the show in which I take a look at 10 great Steam Greenlight games which you should vote for. You can find a link to every single one of these games in the description. I'd just like to start by congratulating the developers of Black Mesa and Routine, which are two of the games that I featured last week, which have been greenlit, and they were greenlit along with 8 other games. So congratulations to all the developers, they all very much deserve it. But without further ado, let's begin with our first game. And we're starting with a horror game. So this is called Montas by Organic Humans. And it is essentially a adventure game / horror with survival, platforming, exploration and puzzle solving elements. And it looks very scary, and with a horror game that's what you really need. So it seems to be based around kind of paranoia and things watching you from a distance. It has elements of amnesia in there. For example, you can open drawers by dragging them, but it seems to be set in a more modern kind of setting. The environments look amazing on this, judging by the screenshots. There are some outdoor areas. There's one which it looks like a desert or something like that, or a construction site covered in sand, but there are also really dark areas. It looks really interesting, and I would definitely give this a thumbs up. It definitely needs it at the moment. It will be a single player game for PC and Mac, so go and give this one your thumbs up. The next game, and I'll probably pronounce this wrong, is called Q Episode 1 by Bitsmith Games, and this is a action adventure game. It looks somewhat similar to Bastion, but with completely hand-drawn graphics. It looks really quite interesting. It's based on a Celtic legend, and something that you don't see very often in games is it actually has a full Irish translation. I've never seen that in a game myself. Obviously it's not much use to me, but any Irish-speaking people would appreciate that, I'm sure. The game promises fast-paced combat and epic boss encounters, and judging by the video that they put up, the bosses are quite varied. And there's one with a mask on its head. It looks really quite creepy, and it looks really well drawn. It looks really interesting, so I would give this a thumbs up, definitely. Frankly, I haven't seen many games like Bastion on Steam, and I think Bastion is an incredible game. I'm not necessarily saying this is like a rip-off of that, but it follows the same kind of principle. And of course, Bastion isn't necessarily original in its own gameplay, but I think there needs to be more games like it, because it was brilliant, and this is one of those games. So give this a thumbs up on the link in the description. Next up is a game called Forge by Dark Veil Games, and this was actually a Kickstarter project a few weeks ago, and unfortunately it didn't reach its goal of $300,000, and so it wasn't funded through Kickstarter. But it has still appeared on Steam Greenlight, so it looks like it is going to be made anyway. It's pretty far in development already, so you can actually pre-order it now and play it after your pre-order. So what the game is essentially taking the PvP out of an MMO game and into a standalone game. That's how I see it, at least. You have a hotbar with skills in it, and you have loads of classes to choose from, and it's just good old PvP action using different skills. Now, I haven't actually seen anything like this. I don't necessarily like PvP in the MMOs that I've played, but that's definitely no reason not to give this a thumbs up, because it looks really good, it looks really unique. There are several game modes available. I'd definitely go and give this a thumbs up. Even if you don't really like PvP in MMOs, this could be completely different, and maybe if you do like PvP, then this is perfect for you. So go and give this a thumbs up, the link is in the description. The next game is a really awesome looking space exploration game called Kinetic Void by Lumbering Troll. So this is, as I said, a space exploration game where you can create your own spaceship. As you can see now, this is a video of the developer creating one. There is a lot of customization options, and you can really make a lot of different things using this. But when you've done that, unfortunately there isn't any gameplay videos of exploration just yet. but you will be able to fly out into your own procedurally generated galaxy, which is apparently limited only by your computer's capabilities, which is quite interesting. There are also randomized factions and political standings, so, you know, every game's going to be different. And so it seems like the aim of the game is to kind of float around, battle with other ships, and it looks like there's also some choices, like it says here that you can be the scourge of the galaxy or its savior. So this definitely doesn't sound like an indie game. I don't know how it's really possible to do something like this if you've got a small team. Maybe this isn't a small team, but it looks pretty incredible, so I would definitely give this a thumbs up, as I already have. And I would definitely buy this if it came onto Steam, so you can find the link in the description for Kinetic Void. The next game is called Ether 1 by White Paper Games, and this is a interesting looking adventure puzzle game with graphics that are somewhat similar to Borderlands. They all look like hand-drawn with an interesting filter on them, and it seems to be a bit of a cross between Dear Esther and a game with puzzle elements. It's played in a first-person view. You take the role of a restorer, who is a person who can enter people's memories in order to fix or mend them. The memories you have to enter are not linear, so you can enter them anytime you want, in any order. And it looks like a really interesting game. It's nice to see this kind of art style in another game, because I really liked it in Borderlands. This isn't exactly the same. There is a bit of difference with the outlines and things like that, and there's a lot of detail in the objects. So this looks like a great game. Go and give this a thumbs up in the description. The next game is called Akaneiro Demon Hunters by Spicy Horse Games. Spicy Horse, interesting. So this is a action RPG in the vein of Diablo and Torchlight and that kind of thing. It's another game with an art style similar to Borderlands, with outlines and hand-drawn graphics. And interestingly, this is a free-to-play game. They also promise multiplayer and co-op, which is interesting. I don't know why really it is a free-to-play game and how they would do multiplayer, but that's what it says in this side, so I'm going to go with that. You play as a woman who is on an adventure, and your goal is essentially to do quests as you would in any other RPG like that. They say there are 3 different skill trees that you can choose from, which will each grow your character in different ways, and also thousands of items to loot. So this is going to be an interesting game. I see no reason why this shouldn't be on Steam. It's free to play with multiplayer elements, and it looks really good. I would pay for this if it was a premium kind of game, but it isn't for some reason. I just hope they don't have some kind of pay-to-win system in place when it actually comes. It does look like there is some kind of currency that you have to buy with real money, judging by a screenshot. But that might be wrong. There is a closed beta coming up. There is a link in the description of the Greenlight page if you want that. I'm not going to put it in the description because then you have to go to the actual page and then you can give it a thumbs up while you're there. So that is Akaneiro Demon Hunters. Give it a thumbs up. This next game actually has a demo that you can download. I'll put a link to that in the description. It's called AARU'S Awakening by Luminox Games. So this is a hand-drawn platformer with a pretty interesting mechanic where your character can basically shoot this ball and then teleport to where it lands. The fact that this is all hand-drawn is pretty amazing. The animations are really fluid, although there are a few problems that I have with the animations. I think there's not quite enough frames in them for things like jumping, and it does seem a bit clunky, but this is an indie game and I'm hoping that those kinds of things will be addressed by the time it reaches Steam. So if you want your own verdict, you can play the demo. As I said, the link is in the description, and also you can vote for it. Give it a thumbs up in the description. Next up is a game that I presume is called Kairo by Perrin. So this is an adventure puzzle solving game. It is inspired by Ico and Myst, and it has an abstract and minimalistic world. You can see in the video that's playing now, you can see the kind of squares and circles that make up the world. It's a really interesting art style. The graphics actually look really good, and this game just looks really interesting. Now, one of the reasons that I featured it is because it has support for the Oculus Rift, which, if you don't know, it is a headset which can display 3D games, which was on Kickstarter a while ago. One of the games that is supported on it at the moment is Doom, and I hear a lot of good things about it. It's supposed to be quite a wide display, so you really feel like you're kind of in the game. And this is going to be one of the games that will be supported for it. And I imagine this is going to be really cool to play in that kind of 3D environment. So give this a thumbs up. It's called Kairo by Perrin. Link is in the description as usual. The next game is called NEOTOKYO, and this is another mod for a Valve game. So if you have Half-Life 2 or another game that has the Source SDK, you can play this for free. The game takes place, it says, around 30 to 40 years from now in Japan. It is a futuristic multiplayer first-person shooter, and the graphics look really good. So the models and the animations, this is an indie studio that's made this. It was Glass Eater as the user who's uploaded it, and it looks pretty amazing. There's different classes to choose from, as you would expect with this kind of game, and it just looks pretty amazing, so I would definitely give this a thumbs up. I'm going to leave you with a picture of Gabe Newell trying to kill the developer of the mod, but of course go and support this in the description. And the final game is a game that is somewhat similar to Minecraft, and I'm sure a lot of people will be angry about that, but Notch himself has actually supported this game through Twitter. It's called Blockscape by Ghost in the Shell, and unlike every Minecraft clone on Steam Greenlight at the moment, this one actually brings something new to the table. So this is essentially the same concept of build and destroy, but you have a lot more shapes, and you can go much smaller than what you can do in Minecraft, and you can also have slopes. So you can build some truly brilliant looking things. The trees in the game that form naturally don't look blocky, they look all smooth. And also you can see some things that were built by the developer and they look really good. So this is by no means a Minecraft clone. Frankly, it's probably been in development for a long time, so it's really unfair to call it that. The game also promises some different game modes, including a defense mode, which is a 3D tower defense game, and a survival RPG mode. So that's definitely something to look forward to. You also have your plain god mode, in which you can just fly around, and essentially it's the create mode in Minecraft. Of course, a lot of people are going to draw lines between this and Minecraft, like I have been, but it does look like a completely different game. It would play completely differently because of the way it's made. So I'd definitely like to see this on Steam, so give this a thumbs up on the link below. And that is it from the second episode of the Searchlight. So thanks for watching. Please like, favourite and subscribe for more like this. If you see any Greenlight titles that you think should be in the next episode, by all means comment with the link to the page. If you can't be asked to click all the links individually, you can see a Greenlight group that I've created for the Searchlight below. It has every single game that has been featured in the Searchlight. And of course, subscribe for more like this, and I'll see you next time.